I really enjoyed our conversation yesterday, as quick as it was, about the Sean Monahan effect. And this is how I came up with the numbers I came up with. I don't just make this shit up. I research the games, I watch the games. We all do. But there is a considerable difference having Sean Monahan on the team and not having Sean Monahan on the team. And I don't care about the first round picks that we received for him. Was it one the first year and another the second year? Those late first round picks don't mean anything unless they amount to something that is Sean Monahan. And they almost never do. Sure, you can cherry pick late first round picks and find the odd player that can do that. But normally first round picks that are after pick 10 don't become great pros. They become good pros. And the odds are even worse after pick 20, which is where those picks from Monahan came from. But anyway, 22-23 was the Bedard year. And the way I see it, if I'm Ken Hughes, and this is just a conversation that we all talk about. It's a fun conversation to pretend that you're the GM of the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know why. I love talking hockey. I do it 24/7. I'm in the rinks. I'm on the ice. I evaluate kids. I do it all day long, 24, well, not 365, but during the season. And I absolutely love it. And I love this conversation. I believe the right play for the Montreal Canadiens 2 years ago during the Bedard draft was not to bring in any single UFA to improve that club. Why would you improve a Montreal Canadiens team that was so low on goals and so poor with goals against? You're not. There's a time and a place to do stuff like that. And 2 years ago was not the time or the place to bring in any UFAs. And then he did it again this season, which is fine. We played the season out and we still got a 5th overall pick, which is fine. For a rebuilding team, you would think it's fine, but it's about what you could have had. And fans seem to think, oh, the Montreal Canadiens can do no wrong. Well, no, that's not right. Let's have an objective mind here and look at the numbers. So Sean Monahan played 25 games for the Montreal Canadiens in his first year, and he had 17 points, 6 goals and 11 assists. Of the games that he played in that contributed to Montreal Canadiens wins, he contributed to 5 games that equals 10 points in the standings. He directly contributed to those wins. And what I mean by that is, on October 17th, they had an OT win versus the Sens, meaning it was a 3-point game. One got 2 and the other got 1. But Sean assisted on the winning goal. That's a direct contribution to the end result. If you assist on the primary, on the game-winning goal, that's a direct contribution. That's what I'm looking, and that's what I look at when I see all his numbers. 13 November, OT win versus the Pens. So he had two games versus the Pens. I'll have to look that up. Maybe I made a mistake there. He scored a power play goal to tie the game. So because of his power play goal, he tied the game. That directly contributes to the 2 points in the victory. 19 November, the Montreal Canadiens had a shootout win versus the Flyers. Cole Caulfield scores the tying goal, and Monahan was one of the assists in the tying goal. If he's not there to make that play doesn't happen. These are direct contributions. That's what I'm talking about. Direct contributions to a win. And I can go on, and I will. 25 November, shootout win versus the Hawks. Habs scored 2 goals. Sean was in on both goals. Contribution. 1 December, Habs 2, Flames 1. I remember this game. Sean is in on both goals. Big game for him because it was his old team. 5 December, Habs lose to the Nucks. Habs lose to Vancouver in OT. So they got a single point. And Sean scores a goal that game that gets them to OT. These are contributing factors that affects the standings. And if he's not on the team during all these games, it probably doesn't happen. And that's what I was getting at. I'm not telling you, I'm not making this, I don't make this up. This is just numbers I'm reading off a chart. So the Habs finished the season with 68 points, and the Anaheim Ducks finished with 58. So there's a 10-point difference, and I just listed off 5 games where there's your 10 points. The Habs were a last place team. And there's a huge difference between Bedard, Fantilli, and Carlson, or is it Smith? Doesn't matter. But there's a huge difference between those three players and Reinbecker. Not a thing wrong with Reinbecker. Great pick because we need big, strong defensemen like that. I think it's great if that's the direction that Mr. Hughes wanted to do. But again, let's make this rebuild a little easier. It's too late now. We're already 2 years into not finishing 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I get it. Number 5 is not. It's a great pick for a rebuilding team, but 1, 2, 3, or 4 are game-changing players, possibly. We don't know for sure. For sure. There's the island East Coast accent. And speaking of which, Squirrel, I was supposed to do this video. I typed it all out this morning, printed it all out. I was supposed to do this video on the golf course this morning, but I holed out on hole 1 for a birdie, and then I didn't want to break up the streak. I shot an 86 in the end. I had a couple 7s. Really screwed my game up. But anyway, the difference between number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is minuscule unless you look at the individual players available. And that's all I was looking at. And there's a huge difference when Sean Monahan's on this team and when he's not. And we can go into year 2, and I will. Why not? We have a few more minutes before it's 10:30 Central. The 23-24 season, the Montreal Canadiens, again, they finished 5th overall. Lottery didn't change anything this year. It doesn't matter. And the draft player is yet to be determined. Personally, I think 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be forwards. I really think Anaheim still wants to get another forward. And I think Chicago should get another forward, especially if you have Demidov or, my personal favorite, Caden Lindstrom, who I watched here in Brandon when he was 16. And I said on Twitter that night, I congratulated, I think it was Moose he was with, maybe Medicine Hat, I don't remember. And I went on Twitter and I directly posted to them. I said, congratulations on picking this kid. He was the most amazing kid I've seen in years at 16 years old. And I've seen a lot. I'm not including Bedard in this. But I was blown away with his talent. So this is what I see now when I see him play here in Brandon. Playing the Wheat Kings, of course, which is, they're a weaker team the last couple of years. But still, it still doesn't... what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't remove the factor of his skill factors. That doesn't make sense. So this season, it's just a quick review because I don't want to have to go through every game because you've seen how I found my points, how I came to the conclusion of the Sean Monahan effect. Montreal Canadiens, 76 points overall. The Hawks had 52 points overall, and drafting 2nd overall. What does that mean? I wonder what I did this morning at 1 a.m. Hawks 52 points over. Oh, San Jose was 1st overall. That's right. Okay, so what are we looking at here? What is that? 24 points difference? 76 and 52, 24 points difference. And so 24 points difference between 5th overall and 2nd overall. The Habs had 20 wins. In Sean Monahan's 40... Sean Monahan played 49 games, and in those 49 games, Montreal won 20 games, which is not... It's almost 500, but it's not. It's, 490? It's 490. However, Monahan directly contributed to 15 of those 20 wins. That's game changer. So without Sean Monahan playing the way he was playing, the Habs don't get those 15 wins. That's 30 points. And that's how I came. And I can go through each game like I did in the first 5 of the first season. But we really shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to explain where this is coming from when it's just look at the game summary and you can see where his points are coming from. Even in the losses, he's got a couple OT losses where he contributed to getting to OT. And that's a big difference. That's all I was getting at. I wasn't trying to embarrass anybody out there. I'm not trying to tell the world that I know what's best for the Montreal Canadiens, even though I do. No, I don't. But I like to think I do because it's fun to talk. It's fun to talk hockey. This is a great discussion when you're with the correct people. And Marco is ideally, I think this guy would talk hockey all day long. He'd be the type of guy, I'd be in the corner evaluating kids or on the ice evaluating kids, and he'd be right beside me yakking away like, this is good. I can tell you know your stuff. That's great, and that's what we want. And you're respectful. I don't think I've ever seen you be a dick to anyone. But there is a time and a place to be a dick to people, believe you me. Sorry, I have to drink some more water. I'm just dying here from this morning. What else did I go into? Yeah, there's no disputing that Sean Monahan got the Habs 2 first-round picks, which is great if those 2 first-round picks amount to anything, but they usually don't. And I get that you can combine all these picks into a package and try and move up in the draft, but my whole point was fans are talking about, oh, we should try and move up in the draft. Well, here's an idea. Just don't sign the guy in the first place, and then you don't have to worry about moving up because you're going to end up 1, 2, 3, or 4. Probably not San Jose, but actually, when I did the numbers, for season 2 for Monahan, the Habs ended up with 76 points, and he directly contributed to 32 points, which if you subtract those 32 points from the standings, they're dead last with San Jose. That's all I'm saying. So it's there. It just makes the rebuild a little easier. Yes, I know. We got the picks. Great. People think first round picks, oh, they're all awesome. No. 1 through 10 is great. 1 through 15 is good. And then after that, you're playing with fire. You don't know what you're going to get. You might get a career NHL player, a good pro player who plays in the AHL, overseas, in the minor leagues. But you're definitely not going to get a superstar. I shouldn't say definitely, because there is always that 0.001% chance. Is it Kucherov that was late? There's all kinds of players you can cherry pick. But for the most part, I think it's over 90-odd% that don't become all-stars. Which is acceptable. I mean, I'm looking at, and I don't know how the NHL managers do it, but when I look at how many picks they have this year, whatever. If they have 5 picks, you want to try and get at least 1 good NHL player. 2 is great. Yeah, that's all I'm getting at. That was fun. And regardless of all of this conversation, if Kirby Dach doesn't come back healthy, I think he's going to be better than Suzuki for points. I love the way he plays. And again, I'm a Western Hockey fan, Western Hockey League fan. The WHL is awesome out here. And I've seen a ton of great players over the last, how many years I've been here? Since 2004. I've been a season ticket holder since that long as well, except for last year. I had to opt out, concussions, and the noise was too much. But yeah, so I'm kind of biased when it comes to Kirby Dach. I think the kid is great. That's it. Let's cut this up and see what I can put in for some little slides. And now you know the rest of the story. I'm Shane Oliver, and I want to be the general manager of the Montreal Canadiens.